Here I have all the pieces for putting together a two-post trophy kit. I've laid all the parts out on the table, including my packing list for comparing the parts and the instructions to follow. Now remember, if you order multiple size trophies, you need to measure your columns and your rods to make sure you're dealing with the correct parts for the trophy you're trying to build. The first step is to add a coupler to the short threaded section of a rod and then add your eagle trim to the top of that. You do that twice until you have two completed rod sections. Next, you want to pass those through the lid. The lid has a beveled section on the top and a countersink on the bottom for a hex nut. Pass the rods through the lid, place the lid on the table, and you're going to use your check rings and your columns. Now, the check rings have a lip that always goes away from the wood of the lid that allows the column to seat inside of the check ring. If you put it upside down, then you're going to break it. So you want to install the check ring over the rods. Then you want to put a column on top of each check ring. And then you want to finish that off with another check ring for each side. Once you have two of these column assemblies put together, then it's time to work on your base. So like this, and there. Now you grab your base, look for the bevel on top, the countersinks on the bottom, and be careful to pass the threaded rods through the base without undoing everything you've just done. Now you want to use hex nuts to tighten the threaded rods and to hold the columns together. But you don't want it to be too tight because you still want to adjust everything, including your eagle trim and the directions that the columns face. So I'm just going to get the threads started enough that I can stand it up, aim the pieces where I want them, and then set it back down to tighten it up. It helps to hold on to the eagles as you tighten the hex nuts and to make sure that your check rings have not been fallen out of place from the columns, or else they can get crushed. All right, that's good. Now the next section is the upper portion of the trophy. Take your last threaded rod, pass a coupler through the rod on the short threaded section, get yourself your figure. Here we have the female victory figurine. Take the cup lid, pass the rod through that, pass the rod through the cup, attach the cup to the lid. Now take your marble lid, shiny side up, and pass that through. And then with your last oval column, you put this assembly together on top of the trophy. Now, don't expect to get this tight and right the first time. Just get the threads on the threaded rod while holding the figurine and tighten it just enough so that you can make adjustments, but not so much that you're going to damage it while you're moving everything. Once I get it where I want it, then I tighten it completely, and that section's finished. Now, you want to install your lower trim. Here we have a second place trim with a hex nut using the nut driver. And then you want to move on to your nameplate after that's snug. All right, that's good. Now, the nameplate is made of metal, so you want to be careful not to bend it while you're installing it. And it has double-sided tape on the back. So remove the double-sided tape and then place it in the center of your trophy's base. Be careful to line it up before you set it down. And then once you've got it where you want it, just press down evenly across the whole piece. Here, you have a two-post trophy from TrophyKits.com.